Brennan. And here's our top stories. Governor Diri directs local government chairman to prioritize agriculture. The Nigerian Medical Association says to embark on nationwide strike. Plus, United Nations appoints Nigeria's former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, as its global crisis envoy. Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Odoye Diri, has directed the 8 local government chairmen in the state to immediately engage in mechanized agriculture to boost food production. The governor, who gave the directive in a meeting with the chairman in his office in Yenagoa, urged them to pay particular attention to areas they have comparative advantage, while insisting that the state had no reason to be importing certain food crops. Correspondent George Amele reports.
With agriculture amongst the pillars of the Assured Prosperity Administration, Bayelsa State Governor Senator Odoye Diri believes every local government area should venture into mechanized farming, identify crops they have comparative advantage in, and exploit them to the fullest for great yield and corresponding output for the benefit of the state. The chairman of the local government areas keyed into the vision of the governor, even as they recount some of their challenges.
Because we believe that agric is a key area, and we have been discussing, and most of us are interested in going into agric. One of the problems I think that we'll have is acquisition of land. Land space is a serious matter.
Nogbia, I can boldly tell us that we can produce plantain very well. I think we are exporting plantain from Kolo area. We can equally produce cassava very well. Pepper, because in Nogbia we have a lot of dry lands. But you have also explained very well about land acquisition. That's our major problem.
Governor Diri believes that with collaborative efforts, there should be food sufficiency in the state and beyond.
We have no reason to be talking about hunger in Bayelsa State. We are naturally rich. But how are we exploiting these riches? It is time that Bayelsa should produce what they will eat and at the same time sell to others and possibly export to other countries.
Governor Diri is willing to go the extra mile for Bayelsa to become a food basket.
I am prepared to do everything that will revolutionize agriculture in Bayelsa State. I took officials from the Ministry of Agriculture to South Korea, and from there we had even support from the South Korean government. And we all came here and demonstrated rice farming. And so why is it that we cannot be producing the rice that we'll eat in Bayelsa?
The local government chairmen are the implementers of the drive to food sufficiency and adequacy to expand outside the state and hopefully international. The collaborative team for this bold initiative include the Ministries of Agriculture, Local Government, Marine and Blue Economy, with the Deputy Governor as the team lead. From the Governor's Office in Government House, Yenagoa, George Ameli reporting for NDTV News.
Bayelsa State Governor Senator Odoye Diri has asked the National Assembly to put a stop to the regular constitutional review exercise carried out in virtually every new assembly cycle. Governor Diri made a call when members of the Constitutional Review Committee of the House of Representatives visited him ahead of the public hearing in Yenagoa. Again, George Ameli reports.
Members of the House Committee on Constitutional Review of the Federal House of Representatives are in the Bayelsa State Governor's office on Friday on the sidelines of their public hearing on the review of the Constitution in Yenagoa, the Bayelsa State capital. Team lead of the committee relays the purpose.
This is the Committee Center A of the House Constitutional Review Committee, which is Edo, Bayelsa, and Delta. And it is instructive that we are meeting in Bayelsa, which also tells a lot about the extent to which we rely on your leadership and the infrastructure you have provided on ground to make our work easy.
For Governor Doye, the exercise has virtually taken the spirit of a ritual, giving repetition of the exercise by virtually every assembly circle.
We cannot be holding constitutional review sessions in every assembly session, National Assembly, and nothing comes out of it. As I said earlier, we are all praying that this will be different and there should be an end to it. It is becoming more like a waste of resources, a waste of human efforts, and a waste of time for both those in the National Assembly and indeed for the country at large.
However, Governor Diri sees a ray of hope in this particular exercise.
This government has what it takes to implement the decisions that will be arrived at through this effort that you are putting in for a review. We have had a lot of reviews over the period, but none of them have seen the light of day. The president that we have today, being a Democrat, will take the bull by the horn.
Bayelsa State Governor decried the short-changing of Bayelsa State on the grounds of population for local government creation.
We don't understand how a state that brings in so much revenue is now slapped with its local government areas. It's not the size of the state. Some of our local governments are bigger than some other local governments, even 3 put together, elsewhere in Nigeria. And so the size and population does not actually speak to the local governments that we have as a state.
The committee is meant to address the pitfalls that led to the failure of previous exercises, and the visit is one of the measures to check the pitfalls. From the Governor's office in Government House, Yanagwa, George Ameli reporting for NDTV News.
Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri has described the constitutional review as a timely exercise aimed at aligning the legal framework of the country with the current realities and expectations of its people. The governor stated these at the public hearing on the review of the 99th Constitution, which held at the DSP Alamisia Banquet Hall, Yenagoa. According to him, Bayelsa is committed to the emergence of a truly federal system and structure that is genuinely just, equitable, responsive, and demonstratively dedicated to the holistic development of not just the state or the Niger Delta region, but also the Nigerian Federation. He stressed the importance of correcting historical injustice related to the inequality allocation of resources alongside the glaring disparities in the creation and distribution of local government areas. Governor Diri's position was supported by the Governor of Delta State, represented at the event by his deputy, Sir Monday Oyeme. Both governors expressed their support for the constitution review process, which they said offered an opportunity to address the flaws and fill the gaps in the current 1999 Constitution. They described the current Constitution as a very controversial document in need of urgent overhaul. As the 21-day ultimatum by the Nigerian Medical Association issued to the federal government draws to a close on July 23, the association has warned that it will ground medical services nationwide if the government fails to meet its demands. The association's president, Professor Bala Haudu, who confirmed this while speaking with newsmen on Sunday, noted that the association was prepared to take decisive action should the government fail to respond adequately to its demands. Professor Audu stressed that the NMA's demands were critical to the survival of Nigeria's healthcare system and the welfare of medical professionals across the country. According to him, a circular from the National Salaries, Incomes and Wages Commission on revised allowances for medical and dental officers in the Federal Public Service which the doctors kicked against for violating prior agreements, is a reason for all the ultimatum. The association therefore called on the federal government to withdraw the circular and meet its other demands to avert industrial action in the health sector. State governors, media executives, and esteemed dignitaries are set to attend the third Lateef Jakande Memorial Lecture organized by the Nigerian Guild of Editors to honor the legacy of the former Lagos State Governor and veteran journalist. The event will take place on Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025, starting at 10 a.m. at EDMAC, the Podium International Event Center in Ikeja, Lagos, which will have Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed deliver this year's keynote address themed Journalism and the Challenges of Nation Building in a Multi-Ethnic Society. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu will serve as the special guest of honor, with Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umar Eno also in attendance. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Malam Mohammed Idris, will attend as guest of honor. Other notable special guests include the founder of United Nations Airlines, Professor Obiora Okonkwo, and chairman of Air Peace Airline, Dr. Allen Oyema. Media chiefs such as former special advisor to the former president on media and publicity, Chief Femi Adesina, managing director of Punch newspaper, Joseph Adeyeye, director of News Television Continental TVC, Stella Dean Jacobs, and Mrs. Funke Igbemode, former commissioner of Information Osun State, will serve as discussants to the main paper. If you're just joining us, you're watching Niger Delta Television News, and here's a quick look at our top stories. Governor Diro directs local government chairman to prioritize agriculture. The Nigerian Medical Association says to embark on nationwide strike. Still ahead, United Nations appoints Nigeria's former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, as its global crisis envoy. Details of these and more after the break. Join us again. Welcome to Niger Delta Television News and Current Affairs Department at the NS Ikoli Media Complex here in Yanagwa, Bayelsa State.
One of NDTV's traditional objectives is to disseminate information with renewed vigor. We build teamwork for accountability, efficiency, and accuracy.
Our community reports, eyewitness accounts, current affairs discussions are detailed and competitive.
As NDTV reporters, undiluted report is our goal. We gather the news and bring it to you just as it is.
Our cameras are poised to get in the story behind the story in an in-depth news report.
Our new digital equipment are top-notch with clearer visuals and audio. NDTV is repositioned to serve you better.
Join us on the news every day at 7 a.m., 12 p.m. and our major bulletin at 7:30 p.m. on Channel 25 UHF. NDTV, crystallizing the vision.
Glad to have you back. A non-governmental organization, State Peace Architecture, has taken a bold step in the fight against substance abuse by organizing a Stop Drug Advocacy campaign at the Niger Delta University, Amasoma. The event, which brought together students, stakeholders, and civil society actors, aimed to raise awareness and encourage young people to make better choices. Correspondent Janet Tomate tells us more.
Speaking during the courtesy visit by the State Peace Architecture, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of NDU, Professor Tombra Kingdom, after thanking SPA members for the move, expressed concern over the rising rate of drug abuse.
In fighting against drug abuse and some of these criminalities, even though we want peace, we also prepare for the worst. So I love what you were doing, and we want to, since you said you want collaboration with us, we accept to do that collaboration with you.
The State Peace Architecture Secretary, Dr. Priye Inebraton, who represented the chairman, read out the obligations of SPA gave reasons for the visit.
What are those things that cause insecurity in our environment? And among them is drug abuse. Because most persons, I was getting a brief from my colleagues that a man killed somebody in Delta State just yesterday. And when he was interrupted and when he was interviewed, he said it's as a result of drugs.
A representative of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Mr. Godwin Erepa, urged students to stay away from drug and focus on building a brighter future.
Here to study and graduate from this school. But if you have studies and drugs, you can never graduate. There are so many people out there. They desire to be here, but because of drugs, they are not here today.
While speaking with the media, the president of National Union of Bayelsa State Students, Bayelsa State Chapter, Enrico Cavallari, encouraged fellow students not to turn to drug no matter the situation.
Our youths are addicted to drugs a lot, and it's affecting our youths. But with the help of this sensitization ongoing by different organizations and by the drug law enforcement agencies, I believe it's reducing a lot in Bayelsa State.
Students against drugs is going to be very helpful because it will help them for their health. It's going to help them mentally, health-wise, and to make them to be able to live longer in life and to be able to think properly.
Highlight of the event was the powerful Say No to Drug pledge taken by students, followed by a symbolic drug-free walk around the campus. Janet Tuomute, NDTV News.
The United Nations has appointed former President Goodluck Jonathan as its global crisis envoy, a role designed to address and to mediate complex international challenges. This appointment places him in distinguished company, similar to former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair's mandate as the UN Middle East envoy after leaving office. Jonathan's journey to this prominent global role is a testament to a lifetime of dedicated public service. From its early days as a university lecturer to ascending through Nigeria's political ranks, commissioner, deputy governor, governor, vice president, acting president, and ultimately president, his career showcased a relentless commitment to governance and diplomacy. Notably, former President Jonathan is the first African former head of state to be entrusted with such a responsibility by the United Nations, making a significant milestone not just for him, but for the continent at large. On the entertainment scene, legendary Nollywood actor Tom Njimanze passed on. The veteran, whose unforgettable on-screen performances spanned decades, died after a prolonged battle with prostate cancer. For more entertainment news, let's join Ezine Nnukwe.
Veteran Nollywood actor Tom Njimanze has passed away at 75 after a prolonged battle with prostate cancer. The tragic news was announced on Instagram by filmmaker Stanley Ontom, who had earlier brought the deteriorating health status of the late actor to public attention when he shared a heartfelt video on Instagram to appeal for financial assistance for the actor's treatment. Njimanze rose to fame in the 1990s, starring in several classic Nollywood films that have stood the test of time. Since news of his death broke, tributes have been pouring in from across the entertainment industry as colleagues, friends, and fans offered prayers for the peaceful repose of his soul, asking God to give his family the fortitude to bear the loss. Further on entertainment news, former Big Brother Naija housemate Munirat Antoinette Lekki, popularly known as Anto Lekki, has been appointed as Senior Special Assistant to the Governor of Edo State, Monday Okpebolo, on tourism and creative economy. The appointment of the 35-year-old reality TV star has been widely reported as strategic, as it comes at a pivotal moment for Edo State, with the return of the historic Benin bronzes, the imminent opening of new museums, and the continued expansion of its vibrant entertainment industry. It signals a concerted effort to position Edo State at the forefront of Nigeria and the world's tourism and creative sectors. Also on entertainment news, in celebration of 20 years of amplifying African entertainment culture, Africa's leading youth culture and lifestyle channel, MTV Base, is set to premiere the highly anticipated new season of Inside Life. Themed The Hustle Diaries, this season of the widely watched reality docu-series shines a light on the resilience, passion, and unbreakable spirit that defines the journey of some of Africa's most influential stars. Hosted by MTV-based Culture Squad member Ilois Omonim, popularly known as Ilo with the Flow. Each episode follows the extraordinary parts of an all-star cast, including Cobhams Asukwo, Bamike Olawumi, popularly known as Bam Bam, and Neo Akpofure. The reality show offers an inspiring experience, taking viewers through the roots of ambition, revisiting dreams, struggles, and defining moments. It is about showcasing the strength of the African spirit, honoring the resilience that defines our stars, and inspiring the next generation to chase their dreams. Onwekwe is in the reporting for NDTV Entertainment News.
And from our sports desk, Nigeria's table tennis players are bustling with confidence as they get ready for the World Table Tennis Championship holding in Lagos State. This follows a strong showing by the country's tennis players at the just concluded ITTF West Africa Regional Championships. Our sports correspondent Yemi Miene brings us details of this report and more.
Across several categories, Nigerian athletes dominated the semi-final rounds with Matthew Kuti and Ajoke Ajomo emerging as the singles champions. Men's singles semi-finalists Taiwo Mati emphasized how crucial regional competitions is to getting them ready for the global scene. Mati, who was given a wild card to the men's singles main draw, showed hope for African players' futures by pointing out that the performance difference between them and the rest of the world is gradually closing. After two previous final appearances, Ajoke Ajomo, who won her first regional title, she is also feeling more confident going into the World Table Tennis contender Lagos. The Club World Cup titles of Manchester United, Liverpool, and Manchester City have been formally revoked by FIFA. The three Premier League teams mentioned above, along with all other past winners like Real Madrid and Barcelona, will now be referred to as FIFA Intercontinental Champions, according to a ruling by the World Football Governing Body. FIFA has chosen to acknowledge Chelsea as the competition's first ever winners, according to the Daily Mail. The 2025 edition was won by Enzo Maresca's team last week after they crushed Paris Saint-Germain 3-0 in the final. 32 teams from 6 confederations participated in this year's expanded tournament. This indicates that the Blues are the only team eligible to be referred to as world champions. After winning their continental titles last season, Paris Saint-Germain, Pyramids, Al Hilal, and Cruz Azul have already qualified for the 2029 FIFA Club World Cup. Ayemi Miene for NDTV Sports.
That report brings us to the end of our bulletin, but before we go, a quick reminder of our top stories. Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Doye Diri, has directed the 8 local government chairmen in the state to immediately engage in mechanized agriculture to boost food production. It was brought to a report that as the 21-day ultimatum by the Nigerian Medical Association issued to the federal government draws to a close on July 23rd. The association has warned that it will grant medical services nationwide if the government fails to meet its demands. And finally, the United Nations has appointed former President Goodluck Jonathan as its global crisis envoy, a role designed to address and mediate complex international challenges. And that's our bulletin. Thanks for joining us. I'm Janet Bobai-Brennan.